Morning, friends. Hope everybody's doing well today. Definitely a more positive day today than it's been in a while, for sure. Oh, it's been a fun weekend. uh, I'll say that. So, it's not necessarily fair to say more positive day than it's been in a while because I've had a lot of positive days since I turned 25 sober. But it's been a challenging weekend, I think, in the house. Yesterday, I had to play some Pokemon. The boys wanted me to sit down, and I did exactly that. I sat down in front of that great big giant TV that Sarah bought me a few years ago and played some Pokemon. So that was fun, and thank you to my children for that. Being a part of some of these groups since Josh kind of directed me to do so has really invigorated me and certainly opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. And add to that the 24-hour day book that Sarah bought me. I've read it each day since I've got it, and it's been wonderful, man. It's been like um, the only thing I can really compare it to is like it's like getting sober all over again. It's like going back to square one. It feels that fresh and new for me, but it almost feels as if I'm going back to square one with all of the knowledge and experiences that I had today. So I'm taking all of that back with me. And it's this renewed, refound passion, and I'm invigorated. And I'm still very much awestruck as I was on that first day, waking up 25 years clean and sober. And it's amazing. What I found out, I think today more than anything is there's a lot of wisdom in these threads, in these Facebook threads. There's a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of guys and girls and moms and dads and people that are sober, and they're living sober lives, and they're doing their best to really connect. Um, and I imagine these last couple of years of COVID, I'll say it, it's been incredibly challenging for people stuck in their homes, not able to get out to meetings, not able to rub elbows with people. Um, I've been incredibly blessed by that because my own circumstances, Sarah living with multiple sclerosis, has required me to be at home. So, um, a number of years back, I wouldn't even want to try and count because I'd be less than honest to try and arrive at a number. But a number of years ago, the man who was sponsoring me here in Elgin County advised me that my ass belonged at home. Excuse my bluntness, but those were his words. I had been struggling, and he asked me pretty much straight up. He said, "Are you living the program?" Yes, sir, I am living the program. Are you staying sober day at a time? Absolutely. Are you in the literature? Yeah. Are you connecting with other drunks? Yeah, absolutely. Outside of meetings? Yes, 100%. So why aren't you at home being a husband and a dad? It's where you need to be. You've got this opportunity to get a life. You've got this opportunity to have your life back. You've been given this chance to be a sober husband and a sober father. Go do that. And wow, I mean, it was a struggle for a long time. I certainly ended up deep in study, and I ended up studying with guys who are into a lot of different things, faith and scripture, and recovery literature. But being with those people and growing my sobriety was paramount. So I continued to do those things, and here I am, 25 years, and you know. Kind of dipping my feet back in, if you will, at this unprecedented moment in history, and finding that there's a lot of people struggling. There's a lot of people having a difficult time. Add to that there's a lot of people trying to share their wisdom. And what occurred to me today was that if you've ever been to a meeting, you've heard this loud and clear any one of a number of times. And it's right at the very front of the book. And it's called How It Works. And it's strangely enough the inscription that Sarah had put on my medallion. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. I won't read the entire thing, but my goodness, there it is, loud and clear. For me, those words were part of my everyday life from the time my dad hit Alcoholics Anonymous when I was 7 years old, man. I heard them multiple times a week at open meetings, when I was allowed, at closed meetings of O.D.A.A.T, at my mom's Al-Anon meetings. I've said in other videos that it's a bold statement to make, but I firmly believe that I had a master class in this stuff before I was old enough to hit high school. And it's always kind of felt deeply, to me at least, that they spent a lot of time, the founders, working on these words and working on this language before they put these books out. They had a message to give, and if you've read the book, A Brief History, you know that they were coming into this thing just as fresh and clean and new as most newcomers are walking in the door. Alcoholics Anonymous Comes of Age is an intrinsic part of our recovery. I firmly believe that. We should understand the history before we trudge forward into deeper water. That noted, you read these threads and people are missing the boat, man. And I think those of us that are a little bit further along need to pick up on that and pay closer attention, because the same refrain rings true all the time, whether they're walking in the door of a church basement or you're bumping into these people in a Facebook thread. These individuals that are struggling need to know that very much so. Our beginnings have to start with the idea that we have to forget the reasons why it's hard and start understanding and remembering the reasons why it matters. Our brains will always go back to those comfortable places, and we'll bemoan our situation, and we'll play those tapes over and over and over again, because that's what's become comfortable, and that's the most direct path back to the bottom, back to whatever it is we're struggling with. We have to remember why it matters. We can eventually find our way back to those things that got us into those places, and we can eventually find our way back around the closed tables, at the coffee shops after a meeting with other drunks. We can find our ways back to a deeper understanding of the why. But today, it's the why it matters, why we have to stay sober. And that's how it works. That's what these words mean. We have to make every effort to cling in those earliest days to the reasons why it's important to be here in those meetings, around those tables, with other drunks, connecting with those people who will keep our tanks filled while we work to empower them. And we learn that along the way, meeting after meeting, one day at a time. We learn that we can empower others with our own experience, strength, and hope, with our brutal honesty, with our willingness to embrace the truth. That's what got me there, and that's what kept me there, and that's what's kept me grinding every day. And I'll tell you, you spend a couple of days in my home, it's not a comfortable place to be at the best of times. It's a lot of brutal honesty. It's a lot of accountability, but there's so much joy, and our connection in relationships with each other is profound. I'm grateful to those people that live with me, that they can continue to support and encourage me, but it's very much the same thing in those church basements and in those community centers, sitting around those tables. It's a mutual connection where we learn to build one another up and give each other truth and honesty, and those uncomfortable truths are often the ones we learn the most from. So there it is today. I didn't want to babble on too much. I just wanted to kind of get this one under the belt, and hopefully I'll listen back and, you know, it makes some sort of sense and it's got some continuity to it. And I'm hoping against hope that I can come up with a plan sooner than later to try and trudge through the 12 and 12, and maybe even make that a series of some sort where I can kind of share these things with you. I would love to have other people here. I would love to have other drunks just like me, that I could connect with, that could share their stories with you. I guess we're going to see where it goes, and I'm grateful again if you tuned in. Got a few more views today than I did the other day, so that's a plus. Take care, guys. Thank you so much. It works if we work it, man. One day at a time.